Oh, good morning. About 7:40, 60 degrees. I am overdressed, but that's okay. It's rainy. Another dark morning. Going to the main. It's raining. Pretty good. Have the umbrella today. I brought it yesterday, but it didn't rain bad enough. I was going to try something. My earbuds for sound. Man. I don't suspect it'll help much. I actually don't know if the microphone will switch over, connecting it in the middle of a video. Sort of a noob when it comes to that. Oh. Hope you're having a good morning. As I cough up a lung. Oh. Always wake up 6:30. Kids up, breakfast, coffee. I don't eat breakfast, but the kids do. My children, before they go off to their charter school. Dealing with the school, my son, who was diagnosed on the spectrum, autism, like at 2 years old. He's 7 now. But he has special help, like, what do they call them? I can't even think of the name. It's like I don't know. A helper. Helps keep him on task. You know. I won't get into it. Cletus, good boy. There's cars. Come here, good boy. Sit. 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 Thank you. All right. You're like just gonna walk out in front of traffic? You wanna die? Well, they want to take the accommodations away. He'd probably be better off homeschooled, but yeah. What do you do? I don't know. Not too worried about it. Got my stuff kicked ass yesterday on the project I was working on. Found out that news towards the end of the day. Didn't get everything done that I wanted to, but man, tomorrow morning I just got barely anything to put in there. So it's ready for rough-in inspection. While I was there, listened to was actually different broadcast, like morning show thing. The only reason that I tune into it is to see if Paul's there at Pimp Unslaved, PIMP Unslaved on YouTube. Definitely check that out. But without him there, it's pretty much a shit show. But he wasn't there. But some other, I was going to call him a man, but not sure that's really deserving. He showed up to this broadcast, and there's a whole lot of, if you showed up today and saw, you wouldn't know what was going on. A lot of inside, what would you call that? It's like previous dialogue, narrative that you're just not aware of because you haven't seen it. And this guy shows up after 6 months, and when he left, he was sort of a bitch. Not sort of, pretty much. But he comes back, man, it's been 6 months. I'm kind of interested to see, how he's progressed. He's stepped away from YouTube. Like, I'm assuming he was focusing on other things. Maybe himself, some self-work or something. But he's the same. Actually, he seems more bitter. That was fascinating. And, right before I'm getting ready to be done with it all. Because it's just sort of, like a bunch of complaining. I'm not really into it. And it was actually kind of pissing me off because such a bitch. The guy's such a bitch. Then Paul shows up and as always, not really playing into it in a sense, but calls it as it is. Basically, what I was thinking, he spoke it into words, and then it was done. They talked about it for a while, but I continue to listen, of course. There's always some good insight when it's not complete insanity on that show, the broadcast, when Paul's there. Even in the insanity, there can be some insight. But but he starts his broadcast and doesn't quite, he starts it a little early, sort of highlighting another man, supposed man, little boy that had lukewarm, half-hearted, I don't know, for all practical purposes, the guy was like a, you know, what the Bible would call like a Pharisee or Sadducee, just nitpicking. And all the while having no real standards in terms of just tearing down, not really providing anything of value. It was quite painful to even look at. It's another one of those things that just gets you real pissed off, and or at least feel in some way more so for truth, right? When you have somebody that's blaspheming the truth, in such a way, its only natural response is anger. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Because these folks are insanely two-faced. And it's not like anybody's really showing Paul any legitimate feedback. Like, I don't know, they're more just trying to break what's there, you know, which is really a lost cause, because, you know, as scripture says, if God is for me, who can be against me? Who? Nobody. It's a lost cause. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff comfort me. I don't know the rest of it. You give me peace. Where you going, Cletus? There's somebody over there with a cart. I don't know what they're doing. I don't really care. It's really going for it. But, man, I got my own things working on. But the more I watch, the more I listen and internalize, you know, test all things and hold fast to that which is good. Discard the rest. And you don't always have to have an opinion, and you don't have to share it. I've made that mistake, thinking that like it was my duty to share my opinion with somebody who doesn't want it, isn't ready for it. There's some sort of lesson to be learned to operating in silence and still being authentic. Doing some work today. don't know what they're doing. It's too warm. Gotta take this hat off. I don't really have any pockets, but that'll work. It fits in my pocket. I don't have this giant phone in there. You know, they make those gimbals. They're like, put your phone on it and it like holds it steady, tracks it. You can move it around, flip it around. I got one of those with my last phone, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty much how I roll most of the time. Because I'd get in the habit of like buying a bunch of stuff in preparation for action, not acting. Mostly, I would say, because my conscience was prompting me, maybe I was focusing on the wrong things. So, nothing wrong with that. Like, I was going to go to a post office and audit it or something, which I don't really have a problem with those who want to do that. But I guess I do, in a sense, have a problem with it if their only thing that they do is audit post offices while they continue to do this, all the other stuff that is enslaving humanity. Like, you know, most of them don't actually know the law. They just have some sort of understanding that gives them some confidence to go be like an asshole because they feel some way about the police or government workers, you know. Not all, just most. Most auditors are rather, I don't know what you'd call them, scum. But they are trying to do something. And I can't really guess their motives, so maybe I should recant that. I guess not really. I mean, we're all scum in some sense at some time, some places, for some people. So it's not false, but rather rude. But I used to watch that stuff all the time, and really got hooked on it. Saw value there. Felt a lot of ways about it. It was after the whole C word thing, which I didn't really participate in much, unless I felt like I was obligated to, till the end when it was like obvious. Anyways, not what I'm here to talk about. During that whole event, last 3 years, started watching more whistleblower nonsense, basically going into a deep dark hole and getting sucked in. And I can say there was a lot of good there. I ended up finding some law information, found that rather intriguing. So I started to follow that path for a remedy, and while I'm doing it, it just, you know, it starts to end up feeling like you're like part of another MLM, like multi-level marketing company. Like, it's just another scheme. Get enough people on board. You know, they're selling products. I mean, everywhere. They got a product to sell. Some sort of powder, pill, or book, process, website, subscription. Like, I don't know if I really need this, but you know, I do want remedy. I do want to learn instead of doing it yourself. And I can say that there is some benefit from short, you know, curated information. For me, the shortcuts never really helped because they gave sort of a false confidence, sort of this sense that I had something like a sword. You know, I got this really cool gun, but I actually don't know how to use it. Hey, Cletus, good boy, come here, come here, sit, good boy. Hey, poke you. Should have brought a towel. Stay. Just go. Go. Cletus, come on. Don't stop to smell the roadkill. You just like you have a death wish today? Or you're just freaking me out? It's just freaking me out. Maybe the format. I should sideways this, you know. It's probably better to watch landscape view. I'll do that tomorrow. If I can remember. I'll remember. It's a morning walk. Breathe. Before I started these videos in the morning, which seemed to be the best time to do it, I would just listen to music, get pumped up. You know, I'm sure that some can relate. Listen to that playlist, that morning playlist, and just get yourself amped for the day, because that's what you need to get going. Because in some sense you're doing something that, you know, you need that motivation. And this is kind of the way any new thing works for me, is when I start, it immediately energizes me as long as I take action on it. You know, it doesn't really come too hard to wake up. Although it's almost sort of reassuring that I can't get up too early because it's too dark. I don't want to take a walk at 4 a.m. I mean, I have, but why would I? Can't see anything. Barely see things now. Not that you need to see anything. Cletus. Ow. My body. Man, this driveway's all messed up. There we go. Can't say I've ever walked with a phone in my hand and the umbrella. Already 25 minutes in. I wonder if the rain will subside at all. It's supposed to stop at like 9, which doesn't really help me. I'm not waiting that long to take a walk. I do have to figure out when I get home, a random thought, that I need to try to transfer the video to my laptop and then upload it, because it takes like a freaking year to upload on my phone, and then I'm using my mobile network and draining my data. Which I need for my addiction of the Pimp Enslaved YouTube channel. Oh, windy. Windy. Oh, I'm sure you can hear the wind on the phone, because I need one of those little mics with the windscreen. Oh, itchy nose. This dog has a coat on, but I do feel some way that he's all wet. You good, boy? You good, puppy? We always go this way, okay? I like this way. Walked by an old friend's family's house. Yeah, I really got away from what I was talking about over at that sports park before I started talking about a gimbal that does not work with this phone, because this phone is too bulky, too heavy, or the thing is now too weak because the battery is worn out from being in the car. Either way, it don't work well. Oh. Whoa. But I was talking about these people online that just it's a very fascinating situation that, you know, I did get sucked into some of that, thinking that these, you know, during the whole last 3 years, there's been a lot of people seeking sort of a time of, you know, a veil being torn in a sense in the mind and opening up to things after something happened that, you know, raised a few flags in your head. Some of them maybe not real, some of them are. And, you know, most of the things have been happening since the dawn of time, so it's not like it's new. It's just new to you. And then you feel like you got to do something about it. It's windy. And like you're gonna do something. Like I was going to a community college. I was 19, 20, can't remember exactly. And started getting into conspiracy, Alex Jones, Zeitgeist. Come on, boy. And you know, really feeling some way into it. But then there came like this sinking feeling, because they don't leave you any solutions other than buy my product, you know, pay for some seeds, food storage, you know, things that don't actually sustain. Mostly temporary. You're not going out and making anything for yourself. But so I just turned away, you know. What good? What use? Go back to doing my thing. And you know, in the meantime, there'd be people that would try to show me Alex Jones, and I would say, oh yeah, I've seen him. He's got a lot to say. But I wouldn't get too sucked up into it. Of course, when you're in the midst of it, that's not really what you want to hear. But this time, I'm sucked back in, you know, learning about health, learning about law. But the law thing was new. The health thing, I've been health conscious in a sense. Since I was really young, because my mom was like really fixated on her appearance and her weight. So she'd always be trying something. So from a young age, I became conscious of that, and I thought I needed to worry about it too. But the law stuff, that was new for me. So it was rather fascinating, eye-opening, but still, you know, giving your power to this, giving it away in some sense. Until an interview with Paul that I watched, and he's got this like unadulterated truth, this speaking as with authority, that same authority that is within you and me, that we just want to shut up because it's inconvenient. And finally, I hear somebody say something that actually resonates with these thoughts and feelings that I've been having for a long time. Come here. This side. Is there a squirrel? Cletus. Get out of there. Get out of there. But so that's been a process. A lot more involved than law. A lot more. It comes down to your heart and soul. All those things that you push down or made excuses for, they start needing to be answered for from that judge within you, and start having to reconcile these things, and it can really throw you off in the sense of the world, you know, from people calling you, thinking you're crazy, saying you're demon-possessed, narcissistic, you don't love, selfish. But the most selfish thing you can do is not be authentic and speak. Use the word. It's a lot deeper than that, but it's just as simple as that. But, you know, it's easy to ignore those feelings and just call them wrong because you're trying to protect yourself. So that ego is pretty damn strong. A false self that says, you know, you need to protect yourself. You need to be safe. And I feel it. Especially with money. It's my biggest problem. Growing up, being taught about money. Basically, money is your God. That's all you're talking about. That's how you make your decisions. It's fucking disgusting. I can barely take it. Had to be patient. Work on my patience. You know, it's really what it's been doing. But I feel much more centered. I am. You know, when things come up, it may throw me off balance a little bit, but you know, I have a process for returning to center, rebalancing. It is. Latest. Good boy. I was going to take a longer walk today, but Cletus is like soaking wet. And it's windy. It's like I don't really mind, I guess. Just trying to talk to a camera, talk to a video. Sit. I'm the guy. Like, nobody walks the dog in the weather that I'm walking the dog in. I'm telling you that now. It's fucking funny. Oh well. Screw it. Cletus will be okay. It'll just tire him out. I'll just have to give him a nice drying. Sit. Wait for cars. Sit. 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 What do you think? Are you okay? Half the time I think that I get more nervous than he is, because he's on this whole instinctual thing. I am so wet. At least I'm underneath this umbrella. They're working on this building. It's been a while. Every day. Today, not so much. It's a little wet out. Maybe they work inside. But this is Appletown. There we go. Wouldn't be a good walk if it didn't fold my cheap umbrella in half. Come on. This is a little tough to do with one hand. All right, two hands involved. 2 hands involved. Hopefully no cars are coming. There we go. We got it. Yeah. Nobody's walking the dog like me. Needless to say. Nobody's this crazy. No days off though. When one of your biggest what's the word? I don't know. The thing that I struggle with is, like most people, accountability, authenticity, responsibility, being disciplined. Discipline is a big one. I have not been the most disciplined person in my life. But that's okay. I was trying to follow, and being a follower gets you in trouble unless you're following what's right. So I end up looking to others, and the people that were disciplined were like looping on their stuff. Like they had a process, but they didn't seem to have any spiritual faith. And maybe that's my assumption, you know. I'm assuming this, but like at least they don't mention it. They don't have any signs outwardly of it. Cletus. Hey dude. Taking a walk in the rain, having a good time in the rain. First things first, I'm saying. Okay, let's not do that. Morning. This video that I posted, I don't know if it's public. I might have made it private. I was like 17, maybe 16. But man, I was looking good. Super self-conscious and no self-esteem, but I was looking good. As good as I've ever looked, I would say. But anyways, that's not the point. I've always sang, right? And it was like, it's a song, Secondhand Serenade, or sit. Can't remember what the name of it was, but I'm a little, there's the shyness, right? You know, I'm walking down the street on the phone, taking a video, talking to it, and I have some feelings about it. Like, don't want attention. Anyways, which reminds me of this like video that I saw. I don't know if you've ever got sucked into TikTok. That place is a circus. You got these people doing lives, pretending to be NPCs, like collecting money, essentially. One dude was on the street in the middle of a busy city, just doing it, unashamed. Anyways, the song was Secondhand Serenade, and I listened to it. I was like, man, it was good. Do I still got it? Like, you'd think after this many years that I would have improved, right? I can say that I feel like I'm certainly more dynamic, but the song was like, you know, how'd it go? Because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. Don't make me change my mind. I won't live to see another day. I swear it's true. Because a girl like you is impossible to find. You're impossible to find. Yeah, I got it. But not to say that song's any good. You know, most of those love songs I find to be more of a bring you into bondage. But I guess like all things, they're subjective to the person listening to them. I found that with a lot of songs that I used to listen to. Like, there's a song by Imagine Dragons called Enemy, and it's like, you know, you could posit it as a song about an enemy outside of yourself, but the real enemy is inside yourself. Like, nobody outside of you is really holding you back. And if you think they are, you're not taking accountability. You've chosen not to. Or you're following money. So that's more important than anything else. And that's your choice. So stop bitching about it. I've made choices that I have to stop bitching about. I choose to continue to be a father and husband. Continue to live in this house that I have. Because in all practical purposes, it's fine. It's good. It's better than 90% out there. And what I could get. Now, what does that look like in the next year or two? I don't know. I think it starts now. Building the habits that I need to forever, right? Every day is the same. Oh God. Just slipped in the mud all over my legs. It's alright, the legs were already bad. Just have to wash these things. Those just wool clothes are, you know, they're hand washed, but yeah, I can use the machine to hand wash them. Still got to dry them. Line dry. I don't want them to shrink. I'm already a giant man. But I thought that was interesting, seeing that from that long ago. In general, I find that memories and pictures are like more of an impediment most of the time, because you're looking back, right? I guess every once in a while I can't see a problem with it, but they also provide no context, I could see a picture from 100 years ago and there's nothing there, right? And for some reason, now my mind jumps from that to the narratives that I was taught through school. Not actually critically thinking, but more of a, groupthink. Oh, somebody smarter than me, somebody gave me this information and it's trustworthy because they're experts, and always trust the experts, of course, right? Wouldn't want to, bless it again. I need a stronger umbrella or something. Dollar General just doesn't make it. There we go. It's incredible how that umbrella can really sidetrack me, but really always trust the experts. I'm no expert. No expert. Unless you're talking heating and cooling, then you definitely should get the most expensive, most newest technology there is, most efficient, environmentally friendly, government approved heating and cooling appliance. Find your nearest billboard and call today. But we see a lot of stuff that is taught about history there's no verification for. We believe these people that can tell us what's the past and the people that tell us what's the future. Like I said before, if somebody says they can tell you the past or the future, they're full of shit. They do lie. So unless they're talking about their own personal experience in the past, even that can be skewed, right? So then we see what's happening modern day sort of calls back to World War II and the Germans calling out the Jews for all the things that they did. And I can't defend the Jews. I can't defend the Jews. But I'm not going to attack them. I mean, personal choice most of the time. Now, they may profit from your sickness. I might call that into question, but ultimately, nothing happens without the consent of the Most High, consent of God, consent of the Father, creational force. And most of these people want this to happen. Subconsciously, that's what they've been calling forth. But that's the World War II. You had Germany essentially calling out the Jews for all these things that they did. So they had to get rid of them. And the narrative is this way, Cleet, that Hitler got the mandate from the people, and they called out the Jews, and of course concentration camps and genocide. They went about it in quite a destructive manner. There's no way to justify any of that. Like, if you're following the Lord and the conscience that you've been given, you will not need any protection. Because you'll protect yourself and make your choices proper, and you'll listen to what your heart is telling you. No need to give everybody a armband with its Star David, or a cross, or Islamic crescent, or whatever else. A Buddha. What else? I don't know what Hindu would be. Vishnu. Hare Krishna. Anything. Atheist. A on the side. Because none of that shit matters. Really? How long have I been not recording? I don't know. Somehow I gotta splice this together. So you're gonna put something on your wrist. And anyways, that's just the Holocaust. The history that we got from that. No death is good. All human life is important. I don't buy history 1 minute. Not 1 second. People are very impressionable. If they're told that the Islamists are terrorists, they believe them. I did when I was a kid. Middle school. I don't believe that anymore. I have no reason to. I have no proof of it in my own experience. I have a lot of people telling me it, but they have a motive, agenda. And what I see today is Jews, Orthodox Jews, distancing themselves from Zionism. And I don't know what that means, but we see a really heavy Palestinian outcry, which is justified. They've been being murdered for a while, supposedly. I can only go off the videos. I've never been there. I don't know any Palestinians, but it's interesting to see those calling out Israel, and what is that going to look like exactly moving forward? I mean, I see a place in the US like calling for, I don't know, what does it mean? Everybody is speaking out against Israel, and even some in the US, which tells me really strange, gives me a strange like inclination to a strange, I don't know if inclination, a sense that like history just repeats, and we're going to keep blaming others for our own problems as a collective, and we're going to keep giving our power away to our leaders, and we're going to keep the sickness, we're going to keep the chains on. We don't really want to fix anything. We just don't want to be bothered with these problems. So somebody please fix them. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop doing what I need to do, and I'm gonna go protest in the streets to really do my part. Okay. Have fun. Go do your part. We don't need you to do your true purpose and meaning. We should just have you feed into political theater. And I see some people, wow, look at all it's the worm. This is the real problem here. We have a worm genocide. The rain has come and destroyed them all. Oh man. I don't know how long my walk is up this. Cletus, come here. Sit. 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 They're not gonna sit. There you go. Shake it off. Shake it up. Shake it up. Woo, woo. This way. Let's go this way. Oh. It's loud. I'm not talking about that anymore. It just brings me, brings it to my sister. Love her. Feel for her. This has been sort of her, an eye-opening experience for her. She's already been going through a transformation of the heart, and the Isreal thing sort of opened her eyes to some of the nonsense that we're told and on the TV, that many of us have known for a while. I mean, it's hard to believe that everything you see is nonsense, but even if it's not a blatant lie, it ain't yours to carry. Crossing the road, trying not to die, having ourselves a good old fucking time. But she's reposting an insane amount of videos from the conflict, and I think the more time and attention you spend on it and feed into it, the worse things get for you. Not really helping the situation. We're gonna have, the people are gonna cry out, this Zionism, Christianity, Zionists and Jewish Zionists, they should have wristbands, and they should be put in camps. Yeah. Whatever. That's just a silly fictional narrative. Definitely not any reality to it. Mixing things up today, Cleet. I am warm, wet, not weary. Ready to go put a furnace in. Ready to go kick the day off. Wonder what wild and crazy things I'll experience today. Play this. This old man is just tearing it up. He's got places to be. Oh well. Still raining. Now I'm getting winded, you know. I'm pretty fat. Mostly in my gut. Pretty sure there's a hernia there or something. A little bit of inflammation. Yeah. Maybe from all the crap I eat. Maybe from not eating all day except at dinner time. And then just smashing my face because I'm so hungry. Because I like sugar. And that certainly doesn't help. I have all sorts of theories. Some might call me a theorist. I wouldn't say that, but I might have used to been. You know, really into all sorts of things. We won't get into it. All I really feel like is important is spiritual faith and conforming to your principles, assuming you have them, sticking with them with discipline, and not conforming to that of this world that tells you a different story. Very fear-based. Not moving past the fear, but being held back by it. Or being so fearful that you say you should live without fear. No fear. Wow. That is retarded. Like the Bible, if you follow that Christian tradition, I guess it's Judaism as well, but Cletus, get over here. On the road, hey, on the sidewalk. The Bible says many times, fear not. And seems to not be a directive in a overarching way. It's more of a don't be afraid in this situation, because that fear that you're feeling may not be legitimate, or not legitimate, but It assumes that there's fear there, and that they're calling out to not fear because it was God, even though it can be scary. It's also extremely invigorating. So as we don't fear, we're gonna face fear. We're gonna have fear. As a normal response, our body, ego, whatever, is trying to protect us from a perceived threat. And sticking out, being outside the box, is a perceived threat. And it's only a natural response to have fear. But the supernatural response is to keep pushing past the fear, to serve the higher purpose. God with us. And I know a lot of people that are have been made, I don't know, like, just don't trust Christianity or the Bible. And I think that's justified. Although that does mean that you've sort of thrown out all of the choices that you've made, assuming that they were all coming from a place of ego and not of faith, not of conscience, which I really don't think is also a fair thing. Like, that's like denying the spirit within you, or having so little faith that you think that, or maybe you're so egotistical. I mean, I think that's where it comes from inside myself, to think that I'm so powerful that, you know, I've been making all the wrong choices, and then I end up with more self-sabotage, when there's a middle way, middle path, the way, the truth, and the life. I'm gonna go this way. Let's get out of the rain. And no matter what people have used the book for, it does have some value if you let it. Just like one thing that I was always told when I was in Christianity was sort of taboo, was astrology, right? Oh, that's just nonsense. It's evil. Well, maybe some of it, that people are trying to use it for telling the future, claiming to know the future, using it for their own personal gain. But not to say you can't tell some sort of signs from it, like, and I can't really speak on that, but I can speak on that the stars do tell a story if you let it. And I think that's where, like, cosmology and what that looks like has some bearing on your faith, because it's the natural or the supernatural, metaphysical world. Here we can touch, up there we cannot. So, and they were made for signs and for seasons, and to give light. So I think the ancients kind of knew that they weren't places to land, places to start any sort of civilization. But I think that anybody that has some discernment can see that a lot of that's used for distraction and propaganda, especially within the church, calling everything that isn't their version of Christianity the devil. Ironic. It's like that saying, the pot calling the kettle black. I don't know what the hell that means, but maybe because pots and kettles used to be black. Either way, you have a whole movement of people that doesn't actually follow the book they read, or they follow bits and pieces and then make up or use an interpretation given to them. Not using their own mind because they lack self-worth, self-esteem. They lack faith in their own conscience and Lord that guides them. And the word they deny for that of the underworld. And I think that it was said in one of Paul's broadcasts that by somebody that, you know, these things are dead. Words on paper are dead, and they serve no purpose. Essentially, sort of what they were saying. Why use them? They're dead. Well, most people are dead, and you need to speak to them in where they're at. So you can use things that are dead. And somebody that moves on and leaves something behind, that's how they do it since the beginning of time. And I guess you could say that there's some, negative to that, because you see that they've taken this timeless knowledge and this timeless wisdom and they've turned it into a cult. They've skewed it in such a way that has been used for our enslavement. But that was our choice, as it always is. That's it for today. I know. I'm sure you've watched it to this point. I'm so captivating and so charismatic and so incredibly handsome. I might have said that already. But until tomorrow, may the peace of Christ be with you always. That peace that passes all understanding. Let it guide your hearts and minds. Goodbye.